Hi, welcome to CloudEagle's Insights in Minutes. Everywhere you look these days, there's a new AI tool promising to revolutionize your business. But with so many options flooding the market, it's way too easy to get overwhelmed or worse, make an expensive mistake. Why do you think evaluating these tools has become such a critical step for companies now?
It's honestly wild how quickly things have changed. Just a few years ago, AI was almost a futuristic buzzword. Now, if you're not using some form of AI, it feels like you're getting left behind. But I've seen firsthand how picking the wrong tool, one that doesn't fit your workflow or isn't secure, can waste months, blow budgets, and totally stall momentum.
That's what scares a lot of leaders, I think. The stakes are high not just for costs, but for productivity and data privacy too. I read that the global AI software market is expected to hit over $300 billion soon, so businesses have to be smarter than ever about their choices.
Exactly. And what's tricky is that not every AI solution is built the same. Some are flashy but not practical. Others offer real business value if you know what to look for. I've seen teams get burnt by buying into the hype rather than focusing on what'll actually move the needle for them.
So let's talk about what to do before even looking at demos or pricing. It all starts with defining what you really need, right? Too many teams skip this step and end up with tools they barely use.
Absolutely. Getting crystal clear on your goals is the foundation, whether it's automating customer support, digging into analytics, or just making operations run smoother. You need to know the exact problem you're hoping AI will solve. For example, if you want to reduce customer response times, you'll be looking for something completely different than, say, a tool for inventory forecasting.
That makes so much sense. I've heard that organizations with well defined use cases are way more likely to see real ROI. I guess it's like walking into a store with a shopping list versus just wandering the aisles and grabbing whatever looks cool.
Exactly, and what's wild is that 70% of companies that don't set clear AI goals end up disappointed with the results. It's such a simple step, but it can really shape the entire evaluation and rollout process.
Once you've got your goals locked in, the next hurdle is figuring out what kind of AI tech actually fits. There's machine learning, natural language processing, automation bots, the list goes on. How should folks even start sorting through those options?
I love this question because a lot of teams just assume all AI is interchangeable, but that's definitely not true. Let's say you want to automate conversations, then you'll want a platform that's strong in natural language processing, not just generic AI. Or, if you're looking at fraud detection, you probably want robust machine learning with predictive analytics.
And picking the wrong kind of tech can really slow you down, right? Like you wouldn't use a spreadsheet to edit photos, same thing here.
Exactly. You have to match the tool's core capability to your main pain point. If it's misaligned, you'll either be paying for features you don't use, or worse, missing the functions you actually need. That's an easy way to lose buy-in from your team.
That actually reminds me, security and integration are huge concerns I keep hearing about. A fancy AI tool doesn't mean much if it can't keep your data safe or won't play nice with your other systems. What are the red flags you watch for?
Data security is non-negotiable in my book, especially with all the regulations like GDPR or HIPAA floating around. One thing I always check is whether the vendor can prove they follow strict standards like SOC 2 or ISO certifications. And then there's integration. I always want to see API support and solid documentation. If it takes months to connect a tool to your CRM, it's probably not worth the headache.
I've heard horror stories about companies buying AI tools that just wouldn't integrate, so adoption never took off. Plus, if the vendor isn't responsive or doesn't have good support, you're stuck when things break.
That's a good point. I look for vendors with strong customer testimonials and clear SLAs. If they're slow to respond during your buying process, imagine what happens when you need urgent help. It's not just about the software, it's about the partnership you're getting into.
So you've narrowed down your list. Now comes the real test: pilots and trials. How do you make sure an AI tool isn't just good on paper, but actually works for your team in practice?
Honestly, nothing beats a real-world pilot with your own data and workflows. I always insist on a trial or demo period before making any commitments. Collect input from the folks who'll actually use the tool and track how well it meets your most important KPIs. That's where you'll spot hidden deal breakers, like a steep learning curve or laggy performance.
And a structured checklist can help keep things objective, right? It's easy to get wowed by cool features, but you want to compare apples to apples, security, integration, cost, support, and so on.
Exactly. And don't rush this part. A pilot not only shows if the tech fits, but it can uncover whether the vendor is a good long-term partner. At the end of the day, the smartest AI investment is the one that delivers steady, measurable value, not just the one with the most buzz.
Funny how so many teams get pulled in by shiny AI promises, then realize later the tool doesn't solve their real problems. How can organizations stay grounded and make sure they're getting true business value from their AI investments?
It's easy to get swept up in the excitement, but the best advice I've seen is to tie every decision back to your core business goals. Ask, does this tool fit your workflows? Will it save money, boost productivity, or make your customers happier? If you can't answer those questions confidently, it might be time to step back and reevaluate.
That's such a good reality check. At the end of the day, it's not about picking the flashiest tool in the room. It's about finding the one that fits your team and drives real, measurable improvement. When you take a step-by-step, strategic approach, you set yourself up for success.
Totally. With a thoughtful process defining needs, checking capabilities, testing in the real world, you're way less likely to regret your choice. And those are the AI tools that become true competitive advantages, not just temporary trends. Thanks for joining us today. We'll catch you on the next episode of Insights in Minutes.